So we're going to continue. We're going to show you how the materials move from inventory in a job cost system. So we have materials or raw materials. This is an inventory account. And just a refresher, inventory is an asset account. And to increase it, I would debit it. So when I buy the materials, I'm going to debit my materials. And when I actually pull it out of raw materials into WIP, I will credit it. So I'll be pulling. So debit when I buy into inventory, credit going over into WIP. And so here is how the materials and how the cost flow. So this is my raw materials ledger account. And so here we have, I issued 2,000 pieces. Okay. So that means issued means I sent them out to finished goods, but then I received in 10,500, and then I issue out $11,000. So this is job number 71. This 2,000 pieces. This was wood that moved from the materials account, and I put a requisition in it, and it's going to end up moving into WIP. So these are material requisitions. So you would write up a requisition to pull material from that account, and you would go by job numbers. And so job number 71 shows that I'm going to make 20 units, and here's my balance of this job at the beginning. Now I'm pulling in 2,000 direct materials. This is job 72, and here I'm making 60 units. Okay, this just tells me what makes up the 2,000 and the 11,000 I'm pulling. And so this is it. So we're going to track jobs 71 and 72 as it goes through the job cost process. So the first thing I'm going to do is when I've actually bought the materials, and so this will have some journal entries in it, guys. This chapter will have a few journal entries. We're going to start at the very beginning when I buy the material. So I buy the wood. I'm going to get a receiving report from shipping that the wood is here. And so this is the journal entry for when I purchase the material. I make the assumption that I buy everything on accounts. So this is my raw materials inventory. I'm debiting it for 10,500. I'm going to credit accounts payable because I now owe them. So this is the journal entry for the purchase of the wood. Next, we're going to look at requisitioning the materials from the raw materials department. Okay, now this won't really require, well, it will require a journal entry in just a minute. I'll show you that. Let's keep moving. Okay, so now my materials rec, I had 2,000 and 11,000, if you remember. This is the journal entry to move materials from raw materials to WIP. So I will credit the materials, because remember, credit pulls it out, and I will debit the WIP account. Okay? So I'm just moving the materials from one inventory account into the next. Okay, so this is my materials. Now let's look at labor and how we bring labor in. Okay, so what happens with factory labor is we have to be able to keep track for each job how much time is being worked on by how many different employees. So the best way to do that is to use some sort of tickets or badges or some way to track the time. So here are my two jobs. Here's job 71, job 72. And this, I add up all the time tickets or the cards. And so it was a total of 350 hours total. And I believe it's at $10 an hour. Yeah, the hourly rate is $10 an hour. And so the cost for direct labor is this. Now job 72 was 500 hours, but its cost is 15. So I multiply it. So job 72, I'm going to bring in 7,500. So my next journal entry we're going to look at is bringing in direct labor into WIP. So I'm going to add these two numbers together. Here's my journal entry. Debit the work in process, credit wages payable, because this is money I have not paid these employees yet, but I will be paying them on payday. So basically, I'm now bringing in my direct labor. So this is all for video number 2 of this chapter. The next thing we're going to look at on the next video will be factory overhead.